Fields Online.
Many players just how in active development the game is.
Yeah.
Following a relatively stable period of gameplay patches, 3.18 brought with it problems in logging into the game, then shaky and unreliable performance for some who managed to make it in. Those elements formed a stark reminder for many players that Star Citizen is an alpha test. But given that Star Citizen is
and like so much warning, 2 letters from the chairman signifying that PES was going to cause issues. Plenty of warnings, but I don't think anyone knew that it was going to be this bad, that these issues were going to arise in the way that they did. They would have never pushed it live. I don't think they would have ever pushed it live if they knew that it was like what was going to happen happened. I'm not sure they would have. That was nuts.
Forming a more mainstream appeal as the years march on, is wheeling out the old excuse, oh, this is an alpha, still appropriate? I'm Farrister, and in this video we'll explore the answer to that question. The first and perhaps obvious point...
I'm really curious what he says here, just because I have a really strong opinion about this after 3.18, especially. And I think it is absolutely an alpha, but...
is that yes, Star Citizen is clearly still in alpha testing. It's clearly marked on a lot of the materials out there, and also in that pop-up that you have to acknowledge every time you launch the game. And so, to some extent, it's appropriate to expect that what is in players' hands is not yet polished, optimized, or feature complete. But what was seen with the 3.18 launch wasn't those usual elements, it was game-breaking stuff. Errors that stopped players from actually playing the game at all.
Yeah, it wasn't bugs. I mean, they're bugs, but...
There's an element that testing at scale to bring out these issues is important, and that's true. But equally, many other MMOs have launched over the years without experiencing such day one issues, because the testing happens, well, in a test environment, like the PTU. The PTU, or Public Test Universe, is the sandbox for future patches, where players are able to experience and test new content, knowing that it's not yet ready for the live version. And this idea is not unique to Star Citizen. Many other games run a test server to iron out some of these issues before they hit the wider group of players.
And even sometimes those are early access games, is my understanding as well.
But this clearly didn't work for patch 3.18. In part, perhaps an expectant, if not demanding community is partly to blame for that. Patch 3.18 was originally slated for release back in December, and was continually delayed until an eventual March release. Those delays were because it was well known the patch was not ready. There were significant problems with it that could impact player experience.
And I didn't hear, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure there were some people, but I didn't hear a lot of, grumbling about it. I heard a lot of, take your time. When it's ready, no big deal. That's kind of the vibe that I got. I know that's how I felt about it, was like, I'm really excited to play, it's been a year of 3.17, I'm really excited to play a wipe that is fresh and ready to go. I made that comment hundreds of times, I must have. And then I still believe, and I stand by the statement that I made, they did what they needed to do in pushing it to the wider audience and literally having PES and their database just completely destroy everything, right? And they found what they needed to fix. They found where, what was important to fix. I kind of stand by with what they did. I'm not sure, like I said earlier, I'm not sure they would have done it if they knew it was going to be this bad. I think they would have tried to figure out a way to test it in the PTU somehow. And they already, I think, went really head down trying to get tools so they don't have to deal with this at scale with us ever again. It sounds like based on some information, but yeah, I just
Good to have you on the team, Commander.
I'm not sure.
Copy.
It was
Deploying the
a
fighter now.
horrible thing that happened. I think we're gonna hopefully quickly, like, it just comes down to, did they fix
Fighter
everything
is
from the
online.
ground
I'm
up
ready when you are.
and rebuild everything like proper, like, you know, instead of 10-year-old tech debt database, do we have a 2023 thing that they're
We've got
working
multiple
on, or
hostiles
did they
here.
band-aid
Let's
it?
take them out one at a
Probably
time.
band-aided it, you know?
The community
And if they did, it's not worth it.
itself is often expectant of seeing progress, and as much as the project developers are partly responsible for setting those expectations, there's undoubtedly a pressure on teams to get things out of the door and into players' hands.
I just don't know who was pressuring them. Like, this was the one time that I really didn't see that. And it was a long wait. I mean, we all played 317 for a year. We were all waiting for 318. But I was very much,
Target is trying to jump away, Commander.
you know, I was, you know, not really playing that much Star Citizen. I was playing different games. I was going, hey, I'm kind of bored of 317. Let's check out some other things. You know, and it's, you know, some of you guys in chat are thinking it was ship sales and stuff. Could be right. But I just didn't get that vibe from them, really. Like, if I wanted to get my Star Citizen fix, I could play a little GPU and
They're trying to escape, Commander.
mess around with, like, salvaging or something like that.
Good
But
shooting, Commander.
overall, I didn't. This felt different to me. That people were like, "Yo, take your time," because I wanted to play a good video game. I was, well, we know Star Citizen isn't a good video game yet, but I thought that there was enough tools in the tool chest for me to, like, make some fun for myself, given everything that was in 318 and prior.
In some
So I
cases,
wasn't able to
perhaps
log in.
knowingly before they are fully ready to stand the test of time. That said, blaming the player base doesn't feel like the right way to assess this launch. Instead, whilst many people may have known that 318 needed more time in the oven, it's also possible that few expected the launch to be as problematic as it ended up being.
Nobody thought it would
It's
be.
also important to point out here that this
If anybody thought this would have happened, no way.
criticism isn't directed at the developers pushing the game forward, working hard on developing a game with cutting edge of technology. This is a project management and leadership element, being able to manage expectations appropriately and know the right time to be able to set something out into the wild. There's also a judgment.
But you also can't blame management on
Target is trying to
expecting
jump away,
this and,
Commander.
like, this is a leadership problem in this specific case. Because how the hell would anybody have guessed that it would have been this bad? Again, like you can't set these expectations because these were totally unexpected expectations.
Involved in knowing when to keep
A month with people not being able to log in? Come on.
tests isolated to a more volatile test environment, and when to accept a less disruptive test at scale. It's probably more acceptable, for example, to say, yes, these NPCs are standing on chairs because Star Citizen is an alpha, than it is to say, sorry, you can't log into the game, but it's okay because we said it's an alpha.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's easy to criticize with hindsight. I'm not a software developer, and clearly a lot of these systems are technologically groundbreaking and lay the foundations for Star Citizen to potentially be one of the all-time great PC games in the future. Maybe this was all unavoidable and unfortunate, but perhaps there were also learnings to be gleaned from the experience about trying to keep a more stable build for the wider player base while isolating as much testing as possible to safer test environments. But what do you think? I look forward to reading your thoughts in the
You got
video
it.
comments.
Well done, Commander.
If you enjoyed this,
All right. We'll let him
video.
finish
As
this
always,
actually
pressing
more
that
than-
like button is helpful in shaping future content here. And equally, if you're not yet subscribed, you might like to click that whilst you're there to let YouTube know you'd like to see more videos like this in future. Otherwise, and as always, thank you for watching.
Thank you, Ferrister. The thing that I was going to say that you never really brought up is many people lined up at the door to play
Nicely done, Commander.
318. Nobody lined up at the door to
Great
test
work, Commander.
318.
You really made
Nobody
a
cared.
difference.
After a
I'm on the
while,
target, Commander.
no
Stop
one
that.
cared. And you know what they did? They did the exact opposite of making this work. You know, again, like he said, hindsight is 20/20. But if you opened the PTU earlier, out of Evo and out of Wave 1 earlier, then you would have seen everything fall apart in the PTU. Right? But again, that's a hindsight thing. The real point that I'm trying to make is that people lined up at the door to play 318 because they wanted to play. So the it's an alpha excuse is a difficult one now to use, in my opinion, when you're talking about the live servers. Yes, it is still a testing environment, but the test is focused in a different direction. The test is focused on how playable is the game? Is the game enjoyable? How can this be more fun? Gathering feedback on those aspects of things. The PTU is, does this work or does it not? Typically, right? So yes, they're both testing environments and they're both used to gather data, but I'm fortunate enough to have some conversations with devs that work at the company that, like, on my Twitch stream, let's say, and they do come in sometimes and they ask like our wider community questions and gather feedback in that way sometimes as well. And I noticed something funny yesterday is one of the devs who worked for the mission team was asking about, I think, prison and Jumptown, like two things that he works on. And he was asking on, how can I improve it? How can I make it more fun? He's asking that when the game is live. But in the PTU, when he was in chat, we were going through and resolving bugs together, right? And that's the difference. Star Citizen is an alpha, but it is also a live service. And that's what players need to recognize, is that Star Citizen is not just an alpha. Players want to play Star Citizen. Players want to play it. They want to take whatever tools are in the tool chest, as rusty and as few as there are, and utilize them to have some fun for however long the game allows them to. And people do want to do that. People want to make progress in the game. Zero to Hero is a popular thing to do in the game. People want to play it, and you can't ignore that anymore by saying it's an alpha. Nobody cares what you have to say about that because they want to play the game. So the studio does need to focus on having the live server be playable, having the live server be workaroundable, I guess is what I mean when I mean playable. And then, you know, you do have marketing out there saying playable now when people can't log into the game. It's just a bad look overall, but I just don't understand people defending this with the it's an alpha excuse anymore, because I think there's an overwhelming majority of players who came into Star Citizen 318 because they wanted to play. If they wanted to test, they would have joined the PTU. And guess what? They went to a wider audience on live because they couldn't get enough people to test in the PTU. Nobody wants to test. People want to play. I don't care what anyone says, you pledged, blah, 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 blah. People purchased a video game. That's what they did. That's what they want to do. End of story. There are a subsection of this community, and it's a larger subsection than any other community, I would guarantee, that are totally into testing and all those things. You people, there's nothing wrong with you. Good for you. Thank you, as a matter of fact. Because I don't think we would be anywhere without people like that. But there are way more people that want to play the video game than you.
Focusing fire on our capital ship. Keep it safe.
And that's all we need to realize. And that's it. All right. So straight from the beginning, from the very start of everything, let's discuss the wipe situation here. And we're going to start out with Xylo's post March 12th at 1:04 a.m. my time, I guess. Hi all, adding a few important notes. While a partial wipe is always possible, if we were to encounter some catastrophic issue, we do not currently expect to wipe. However, in the event that it does appear necessary, I want to assure you that your hard-earned Alpha UEC and reputation would remain intact. The only items that would be affected are the ones obtained through in-game purchases or looting. Fortunately, I have some good news to share as well. Even though ships purchased in-game would be wiped, our system would still retain necessary information to allow us to remember them and restore them to you in a future update. I'd like to reiterate that the execution of a partial wipe is not currently expected. If that ever changes, we'll promptly update you and keep you informed. Wrong on all accounts here, obviously. And, like, he protects himself by saying we don't currently expect it. Partial wipes are always possible, right? And it's just becoming hard to trust some of these things, right? And then only 2 days ago, we get this under the roadmap roundup post, which I didn't even see yesterday, so we're gonna have to look at that today as well. I've been persistent in my efforts to track down information related to this matter, even if it means I've been a bit of a pest internally. While I don't have an update for you right now, our team is keeping a close eye on any new developments to ensure we will keep you all promptly informed. There is absolutely no way that he doesn't know that there's a wipe at this point. 2 days ago, and now you know? It's kind of weird, but I'm just trying to figure out what the goal is here. I'm at this point convinced that the community team's goal is a single one, and that is to try and keep people playing and happy as much as possible, and trying to make things seem not as bad as they actually are. And I'm starting to lose trust. There was a comment on the 24th as well. I mean, it's all the same basically at this point, right? So that's a little bit of history here, but I will not trust a comment about anything. And I think a lot of you guys did on these. I didn't ever trust. I didn't play 3.18. I barely played 3.18 because I knew this stuff would happen. The moment you look at 40,000 errors and people's accounts just being completely corrupted and wiped a lot of people's accounts, there was something majorly wrong. And the only way to fix a majorly wrong thing is to turn it off and turn it on again, right? Or that's like one of the things that you try. I believe I have the bearded CIG one. Is this about 40,000 errors? I have it right here, okay? So then we get the post from Xylo saying that there is going to be a wipe. We want to provide a quick update on what to expect in the upcoming releases. Our initial goal was to avoid the need to wipe the database for the upcoming point patches. So it was your goal, but at the time, it wasn't a goal, what he said. He said it would not happen. And that keeps people in 3.18, that keeps people playing, that keeps people engaging. And honestly, it's good for their information gathering. So it's like, are you lying so we gather more information? Are you lying so we get more money? Are you lying at all? It's impossible to tell. But I have lost faith in their communication. And I feel like I lost faith in their communication a long time ago. I feel like this is not a good thing for a lot of the new people who came into Star Citizen. There were a lot of new people. There were a lot of people excited about 3.18, whether they were new or returning players. And I think that this is a really, really bad look for the community team. I think it's a really bad look for the game overall. And this was not a good thing. But I think because Xylo acted in the way that he did, and I think because the information was put out in the way that it was, I think they probably gathered the maximum amount of information they needed to resolve this issue for a period of time, hopefully. So I'm not going to take this and go, it's all bad, right? It's only all bad if they didn't do the work to ensure that this doesn't happen again, or that they did build everything back from the ground up or something like that to ensure that this isn't a problem. And I'm going to make a Spectrum post on, I think, what do you go, dev posts or whatever, ask a dev, and people hopefully respond to that. And I'm going to ask about, so what did happen and what are you doing to resolve it? Because we haven't heard much about that, actually. Maybe this 40,000 error, we'll hear something in the next post. So however, due to the current state of Alpha 3.18's database and the numerous hotfixes we have implemented since 3.18 went live, more than 50, we've concluded that a couple of full wipes, Alpha UEC items, and reputation will be necessary to further improve and stabilize the service. For those interested in what's going on under the hood, alongside the myriad of changes that shook up our database, we uncovered an issue with the identity service related to player IDs, which was revealed through the 40,014 error that some of you may have been encountering. While we've resolved this issue and many others like it, we still require a full wipe to get all our cogwheels back into the right place. For both Alpha 3.18.1 and 3.18.2, we will perform those wipes alongside a hearty list of improvements and optimizations, which will hopefully make your gaming experience much smoother. Okay. That kind of makes me not want to make the post, but that doesn't change that we had 19,000 errors. That doesn't change that we had 30,000 errors. And that doesn't change that we had, 60,000 errors when people were trying to get into servers and it was saying servers were full, things like that, right? There was a lot of weirdness going on, and it was all related to concurrency. So I still think I'm going to make the same post asking more about those and how we're hopefully not going to experience those in a 3.19, a 3.20, and a 4.0. Now let's move on to the next post. This is from Bearded CIG. And this is about, 40,014 for days. You've only logged in one time. Hopefully this gives a little bit more insight to people on how this works. He works in the back end team. I don't know what they're called. Hello. For anyone that might not have heard from me before, part of what I do is keep track of error rates that players are running into and making sure that the issues are being looked at. Errors like this show up on graphs that I look at on a daily, sometimes hourly basis, and I call attention to anything that needs to be looked at. Oftentimes with errors, there are multiple issues that can cause the same error number to appear. Thus far, there have been multiple fixes for the issues causing the 40,014 errors. Some of them allowed some accounts to be able to play the game while others still can't. It's frustrating to me to see players that aren't able to play the game. However, with development for new and complex features, things often get worse before they get better, with the end result being a better overall experience once the problems have been ironed out. Issues for 3.18 are still being worked on, including the 40,014 error, and we're continuing to find improvements and fixes that we can make. Some of these aren't able to be hotfixed and need a proper full build to be released. Interesting. And I think that that's what the 3.18.1 is, hopefully. Hopefully he doesn't mean a full, we need a get out of the 3.18 branch to fix that. I don't think so. So that's a little bit more insight. And then lastly, 3.18.2 comes with optimizations to entity management to help improve performance on the client and server. With these optimizations, we wanted to open up a thread to discuss about clutter density around the PU. So I'm going to link this thread to you guys, and this is something that I think that they really need to hear from the community about. The idea of that there is a lot of clutter, there's a lot of density problems in the PU, and they should hear your feedback about it. This only has 57 upvotes and not a lot of reactions or anything, and only 123 replies, when this is probably one of the single most important posts that have been made in the entire 3.18 cycle. So we should probably respond here as well. All right. So with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and log into my account. But before, let's talk a little bit more about the wipe. I don't think that they're doing this for any malicious reasons. They absolutely, it is 1,000 times bigger win for us to not have a wipe in the 318 experience than for them to have done what they're doing here. This is not a situation that I've seen previously, like the wipe every patch thing. People thought they did that because they want to sell ships. So the whole you can buy ships in game, but you never hold on to them thing. That I don't think is the case here. It is 1 million times a win. If they drop 318, it's not a mess. There's tons of people playing. There's things to progress to. Okay? At this point, I would not be surprised if we come back in 318-2 with larger than 200,000 in our accounts. I don't like it. I think we should start with 10,000, 5,000, 20,000, whatever the minimum amount would be. I think that would be fine. Let people play the game. Let them start from scratch again. And the game is actually and can be enjoying, right? When you're making progress, it's fun. So this need to get back to after making mistakes needs to go in a different direction. And that's what my first post is going to be about, okay? At this point with 318, we've had a ton of people excited to join Star Citizen for the first time, that should say. And then come back from an extended break, or regular players ready to jump in to some new features, and everything fell apart, and that's okay. Nobody expected 318 not to be a rocky experience, but I want to address an issue that I think can make the upcoming wipe a little less painful. There is the obvious option to have players start with even more money than 200,000 out the UEC so they can purchase the ships they lost in the wipe for 318. Then what motivation would there be to play 318-2? There were 3 ships, possibly 4, depending on how you look at things, being held back for a major release like 319. The Corsair, the Cutter, the C8R. There was a lot of drama around the subject holding these back, and at this point, it has been well over 100 days since these ships were made flyable in-game, but they're not available for in-game purchase. I think it's a much bigger win for the team to give something for the players to work towards, like earning these new really cool ships, than giving some money back so they can buy the ones they already had. What about the 4th ship, the Vulture? There are a lot of problems with players trying to work together, and bugs related to the cargo refactor are preventing that from making not stolen cargo seem stolen. If the Vulture is available in-game, one account can purchase them in-game, and that issue is resolved for now. All this considering it's millions of credits people were working towards to buy a ship like the Reclaimer. The Vulture should be available to players who want to try the new hull stripping mechanic. There you go. That's my feeling on everything, and yeah, hopefully this doesn't happen again. I mean, that's my biggest concern is does something positive come out of this? Does them taking everything that was broken, fixing it, solidify the foundation, or are we still on a foundation of quicksand? You know, that's what we need to know, I think. All right, start out, I'm content with everything that has happened up to this point. Issues happen. What I think would be great to know a little bit more on is what happened with 318? What did you do to fix it? Was it more of a band-aid or a full rework? And should we expect a continued rocky experience from now through the server meshing update? Right, just a simple thing there. And then in general, I asked, at this point with 318, we've had a ton of people excited to join Star Citizen for the first time, that should say. And then all right, March 2023 PU monthly report. I'll go through the Squadron 42 one on Weekend Review next week when it comes out on the comlink. But as always, they start out with AI tech, and we saw a lot of AI in the Star Citizen Live this week, and I think most of what I see here is things like that, or nothing really crazy, like fire areas that expand and shrink. We saw that in video form on Star Citizen Live, and What's, kind of less interesting actually is this section of the AI updates always showed that there was, some cool stuff happening with AI in terms of holding railguns and things like that. Where's my camera? There's my camera. Okay. I got scared. I thought we lost the camera. Art, character art, Duster faction. They've been talking about that for a few months now. And then the art team explored the Headhunters and Rough and Ready gangs and prepared handoff documents for the Dusters. Okay. I don't know who the Headhunters are or in Rough and Ready gangs. Probably Pyro gangs would be my guess. Ship art, Argo SRV, along 2 unannounced vehicles, each progressed through the final art stage pass, which includes LODs, damage, and optimization. Halsey received further support with the team fixing several visual bugs. Blah, 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 blah. Whitebox began on 2 unannounced vehicles, one receiving a flyable in-editor prototype. Because it's going to be in a commercial. That's what that means. A component pass also began for the MISC Freelancer to ensure the component base adhered to the required metrics and open and close properly for the new update for the tractor beam, so that's good. In the US, subscriber flare paints inspired by Microtech Crusader and Hurston were created. What about ArcCorp? We got scammed for ArcCorp there. Graybox for a new vehicle approach completion. Some unique maneuvering components were heavily detailed, including the front housings and suspension system. Graybox for the Apoa Santokai is ongoing. I don't know. Nothing really excites me there from that update just yet until they start announcing things. Community. The Scorpio Centauris went on sale. Vision Center Racetrack. Team has also been heavily involved in supporting the publishing and player experience teams with the release and ongoing work for 318. Finally, the team has been entrenched in planning and organizing this year's CitizenCon event. There we go. Exciting. Engine. I always skip over Engine. You guys can write a comment and let me know how exciting all this stuff is. But for me, I just want to see the stuff work. Arena Commander features. Now let me try and figure out a better way to show this to you guys. I think we'll do the windowed react is probably better, and I'll make it a bit bigger. So let's scroll back down and go Arena Commander features. In March, the features team saw the first stage of Arena Commander's rework pushed to game dev. Now all development teams have the new front end, lobby systems, racing tracks, and more. Oh, wow, okay. Arena Commander features worked alongside the Planet team to improve LS3 Green, the planet that hosts Horizon Speedway. Updates include a new biome with higher mountains, increased water levels, and beaches to better represent the vast oceans, and in-lore vacation destination. Design began a full rework of Deadford Link Racetrack alongside the finishing work on Old Vanderval. They also completed a pass of all holographic checkpoints to ensure they best represent their areas and environments. Design continued to improve and fix the new Arena Commander front end. All right. Cool. Thank you, DJ. He's here in chat right now. So that's a look at some gates, it looks like. Features, character, and weapon features. Last month, the features team revisited the prone locomotion set, and as several successful mechanics used in the new EVA system could be transferred over. For example, the player character will now roll on the spot instead of spinning around at the hips. And oh, okay, so we'll be able to roll. As the player looks around, the collision shape does not change. This replaces the button press for switching between front and back, and the player can start moving from any prone pose. The player character's pivot has also been moved further forward, which centers the rotation in first-person view closer to the camera and both idle. All right, that's a lot of detail. As part of this, collision shape changes. Main capsule is at the pivot. Yeah, it's a lot of technical talk. As a visual aid, consider this similar to a caterpillar. The end result is much better first-person experience with fewer issues where the character gets stuck on terrain. We love that. That's all we need to know. Team also supported new behaviors around weapon heating. Okay. There's now an option for FPS weapons to overheat, which requires user intervention to restore functionality similar to a reload action. However, before the weapon hits the overheated state, it can change its behavior at various temperature thresholds. For example, the firing rate can increase, the fire mode can change to beam type, or the number of projectiles fired in a single shot can increase. That's kind of interesting. Okay. Imagine an FS9 with an increased fire rate and overheating. Gets even crazier. Feature gameplay. In March, the gameplay features team supported the ongoing QATRs for the mining update and the tractor beam. This led to improvements in the tractor beam UX, for example, adding a toggle for on and off rather than...
Needless to say, this is to be kept strictly between us. Never mind. But if you know anyone with less...
Hey, I need someone for a transport job. You get this job done and you'll make some... Not for you, huh?
It shouldn't be too hard. The job's still open if you change your mind.
You look like a decent... I want the situation dealt with promptly. You understand? Okay, but don't get greedy. What? No. Go waste someone else's time.
How'd you feel about getting some... I'm of the opinion that the galaxy's overcrowded. How about you? I do like people who are unencumbered by principles. What precisely did you have in mind? What the hell? There's plenty of profit in this for both of us. Try to get the job done as soon as possible.
Landing couple disengaged. Departure authorized. Warning. Observe minimum clearance distance.
Frameshift drive charging.
All clear. Have a safe trip, Commander.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Orbital flight engaged. Docking request granted. Landing gear deployed. Warning. You have entered a trespass zone. Trespass zone cleared. Warning. You have entered a trespass zone. Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Vai dele que me look.
Warning. Dangerously low temperature detected. Shield deactivated. Entering pressurized environment.
Why are you so close?
Suit fully charged.
Watch yourself. What are you doing? Stay there, Commander.
Scan detected.
I thought commanders always respected the law. Get going. Inbound grenade! Run! We're in trouble here. I'll radio into HQ for reinforcements. Look, shield!
No bounty detected.
Why is it X?
Shield activated. Security profile cloned. Suit fully charged. Vital signs stabilized.
Don't give me any new faces. Back up a bit, would you?
Shield deactivated.
What do you want? You better stop. Hey, put that thing away.
Why do they never listen?
Security profile cloned.
Engaging target!
Mission status updated. Suit recharging. Suit fully charged.
Just heard something. Looking into it. Taking damage!
Downloading data. Connection lost. Transfer suspended. Downloading data. Connection lost. Transfer suspended. Downloading data. Transfer complete.
Go.
Suit fully charged.
Alarm systems disabled.
Suit recharging.
No!
Anti-ship defense turrets disabled.
Warning. Suit power loss imminent. Suit fully charged.
Heard something. Looking into it. Nobody should be in there. Might have just heard something. Checking it out. Nobody should be in there. Oh, you're gonna die!
Security profile closed. Leaving pressurized environment.
Eyes on the target.
Found him!
Power center shutdown. Power center shutdown protocol has been initiated.
Recharging. Downloading data. Transfer complete. Suit recharging. Suit fully charged.
Shutdown. T minus 60 seconds. T minus 60 seconds. Power center shutdown in 30 seconds. Power center shutdown in 10 seconds. Power center shutdown.
Energy transfer complete. Energy transfer complete. Leaving pressurized environment. Energy transfer complete. emergency air supply. Air levels low. Air supply depleted.
Bonner class. Okay, yeah. Really?
Cannot comply. Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
I probably would have posted this yesterday, but I didn't know that it was there because I saw the monthly report first and I didn't see the little tiny roadmap roundup post at the bottom. So we did have a roadmap roundup yesterday. I imagine it's not going to be a big one, and because nobody was talking about it, that's how I didn't even know it was there. Notable changes for April 5th are release view changes. So this is all for the 319 cards. So confirming that attach and detach will be in 319. The new player experience, the first 30 minutes gameplay experience, which will help players understand the context of the world and introduce them to some basic Star Citizen features. This update focuses on the experience in Area 318 and by Ginny Point. Very cool. Very cool. So new player experience in 319. New missions, salvage contracts. We've heard a lot about those. Now it's just time to kind of get them in our hands and see how they feel. New mission, Ghost Hollow, PvP missions. Added a new mission type to Ghost Hollow, point of interest in the stand system, making use of the comm array as well as the AI nav mesh. This mission type will create PvP encounters where players will need to fight for control over terminals for a chance at big credit payouts. Want to hear what this is all about? As well, want to see what this is all about, because big credits for what? Are they just going to do the copy paste what has worked Jumptown security post Correa thing, and then Lorville Cityscape, reworking the Lorville skyline to better fit the scale of the city and its distinctive buildings. Very much looking forward to that. Salvage contracts, probably the thing that I want to see the most, and I really want to see mining contracts. Ghost Hollow is the most interesting one from like a conversational standpoint, I think. Has security post Correa been successful? Is Jumptown really successful? Or is a broken exploit the best gameplay we've ever had? Right? Nobody was at SBK. Nobody does it. And it's because the juice isn't worth the squeeze. You can make 200K a run at SPK. 200,000 a run. But I think it takes longer than buying cargo and selling it when it's exploited. And the thing is I think this is something I've been talking about for a while, and that is we don't have a game right now. And the moment that things matter and the items that you're getting at a security post Correa is worth taking, and it's not just about money, then we're talking here. Sell the boss armor, good money. I didn't even know that. I never tried. That's an interesting one. But for me, it's like what comes out of the terminals at Security Post Correa could be like really good guns, right? A railgun should pop out of there. Stuff like that I think would be really cool. Like maybe make the size of the box exit and entry 1 SCU sized. A box comes up and it's a loot pinata of what's going to be in there. Is it subscriber armor? Is it FPS weapons that you can't get? Is it drugs? Is it nothing? Right? That could be something there. Yeah, essentially an airdrop, right? Those are successful in other games. But my question is, or I'm not posing a question, I'm really just making a statement in the idea of this is the issue with the game currently, is that none of the actions that you take really mean anything. And the moment that they do, I think this is what the exploit really shows, is that the moment that there is something enticing for players, they're gonna play it, and it's going to create player and player interactions, whether they're good ones or bad ones, right? Jumptown does that, I think, pretty well. Security Post Correa, not as good. So, I think Security Post Correa has endless potential, because what comes out of that elevator could be anything. I think they just need to give themselves the ability for it to be anything, and that would be really cool, right? So that's just my feelings on it. So like, is Ghost Hollow going to be a thing that people are going to do often, or are they spreading out already? Are they spreading out the way we interact with each other too far? Right? Possibly. They did this with the drug labs, and that's problematic. Let me know what you guys think, I guess. I'm just... Security Post Correa has so much potential, and I think it's been a slight disappointment. I'm ready for another Voidy vid. This is titled You Slam, You Lose. The slam wars rage on, and the slam must flow.
Temperature critical.
Taking forever.
Taking damage.
Icon, November, Oscar Charlie. You must submit a docking request before landing at this port. Request approved. Please head directly for Bay 40. All, reduce speed to 100.
Landing gear deployed.
Commander, you must keep this area clear at all times. Confirmed contact, ground crew dispatched. It's good to have you with us, Commander.
I need some. Shouldn't be too hard. Assume plenty of people would. If you want to make a difference around here, okay, we're on the clock here, so let's not waste time. Not for you, huh?
Well, no hard feelings.
Howard, believe me, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over asking you to do this. Pity. I need someone with good... You won't just be doing me a favor. You'll be doing the whole damn system one.
What?
What are you after, danger
Much
money?
better.
That's a lot of money. Okay, but I expect this to go without a hitch.
Location prikkels.
Don't worry, I'll have your payment waiting for you. If you want to help the good guys get even, you do this and you'll have made a friend. Not for you, huh? Well, no harm.
Can I help you? Come on.
Trading, selling, or both. Whatever you need to sell, I can handle it.
Getting some time off did me a world of good. Maybe you should too.
Yeah. The constant strain of it. I don't know how much more I can put up with.
A few years ago, I was stationed at a place that never accepted leave requests. It was absolute hell.
Sure.
You name it, I've got it.
Don't need anything.
Interesting choice.
This the cringe part.
Man, I am long overdue a trip back home.
There's a real comfort in the familiar, huh?
Whatever you need to sell, I can handle
With
it.
its flaws, I haven't been anywhere else that is quite like home. Nowhere else compares.
Sure. For a long time. I'm still learning new tricks every day.
I remember the first time I ran into pirates when I had a full cargo hold. That crap will wake you up faster than any push will.
I made a few mistakes along the way, but things turned out all right.
Sure. When I started out, I thought all the money was in Galite. How stupid was I?
Got that time off I asked for? I think I might go exploring. You got any ideas where to start?
Have you ever seen the California Nebula? If you haven't, you should. It's just awe-inspiring.
Uh-huh.
Considering most of the bars in the system, I'd say this is one of the better ones.
I've never been that keen since I had our run-in with their security.
Indeed. It's certainly lively. Last time I was here, a drunken brawl broke out. Maybe it's just how things are these days, but I feel like trouble's always on the horizon.
I'm lucky that I'm a pretty good shot. I probably wouldn't be standing here if I wasn't.
Yeah. I think you're right. Sometimes you can't avoid getting...
5 million. A fair price. I think you'll agree.
Will that be all? I appreciate your custom, Commander.
How would you like to earn some credits? You might have to bend the law.
I was born in this system. Never left this city.
Weapons, upgrades, whatever you want. I've got the best stock in the system. Take your time.
Boy.
That Artemis extra air capacity can be the difference between life and death. Especially if you lose track of time cataloging stuff with the genetic sampler.
Oh, and don't forget to equip that suit into a loadout. Okay, let's take a look.
Still the same cancer. Still the same cancer. Why, Frontier? Why? Unbelievable.
Is that appreciate the business?
If you don't mind.
Frameshift drive
Clear
charging.
station perimeter. Be careful out there, Commander.
droid engaged. Docking request granted. Landing gear deployed. Warning, you have entered a trespass zone. Trespass zone cleared. Warning, you have entered a trespass zone. Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
I'm warning you, store your weapon. Starting sweep. I'm warning you, from now on, stick to the rules. Stay there, come on there. Hold still until we're done. None of your warrants involve us. No more warnings!
Vital signs stabilized. Entering pressurized environment.
Commander. Stay still, all right? Why are you moving? Nervous? I thought commanders always respected the law. Get going. I warned you!
Downloading data. Connection lost. Transfer suspended. Vital signs stabilized. Downloading data. Transfer complete. Downloading data.
Nothing here. You'll pay for that!
Really don't want to give me their culinary recipes.
Gotta even these odds. I'm gonna raise the alarm. You'll pay for that!
Security profile cloned. Leaving pressurized environment. Mission status updated. Suit battery depleted. Activating emergency air supply. Air levels low. Entering pressurized environment. Suit fully charged. Shield online. Entering restricted area.
Someone in here? This is...
Security profile cloned. Downloading data.
Why are you so close?
Why do they never...
Suit fully charged.
What do you want?
Downloading data. Transfer complete.
Yes? Hey.
Leaving pressurized environment. Entering pressurized environment. Suit fully charged. Leaving pressurized environment.
Ship released, engines engaged. Trespass zone cleared. Under attack. Power plant capacity exceeded. Under attack. Ready to engage. 3, 2, 1. Engage.
route. Please head directly for Bay 39er. Heading is A-OK, Commander. You're all clear.
Landing gear deployed.
Docking complete. Line crew dispatched. Station services are at your disposal.
I'm looking for someone to do some off-the-books work. Ugh.
Something tells me you have good news for me. I'm impressed, and I don't impress easily. If anything comes up, I'll keep an eye out for you in the future.
Detachment complete. You are go for departure.
Frameshift drive charging.
Clear of the station. We hope to see you again, Commander.
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Charlie. Please comply with flight regulations as you approach the station, Commander. Access granted. Set down on landing pad 02. Docking cancellation acknowledged.
Under attack.
Approved. Set down on landing pad 10.
Trajectory disruption. Target shields offline. Scan detected. Scan
2,000 meters
detected.
from touchdown.
Scan detected. Frame shift charge detected. Landing gear deployed.
Contact. Commence system shutdown. Report to station services for more information, Commander.
You want to earn some credits and make a real difference?
Hey!
Hello.
Mike, I can't tell you what a relief this is. Thank you so much. No offense, but I hope it's a while before I need your help again.
Are you looking for work? It won't be